Bam, what's going on? Welcome back to another Wolves Den where it's VIP only. We got the Wolfpack family in here. Guest Box Box Goss. We're going to find out what's all the gossip, what's going on with them, how they started their platform, how we get started. You know how it rocks in here in the Wolves Den. Members have the opportunity to ask questions and be part of the conversation, and that's the great thing about it. So this will be on YouTube so everybody else can enjoy their content as well. So Box Box Goss, we're going to let you introduce yourselves, and then I'm going to pop us off. So go ahead, ladies.
Okay. I mean, say, should I go or do you want to go?
So
Or should I go?
kind, so polite.
I know. That's not usually like it because I was just yelling at her about her tea.
I got it.
Okay, so should I go, Zay? I'm
Yeah,
gonna
go
go.
ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, cool. So, hi, lovely people. We are so thrilled to be a part of the Wolves Den. My name is Sedem. The lovely girl in, I think, a bluish gray is Asay, and we are two of the three sisters of Box Box Goss, which is a fun, gossip session on all things Formula One. We banter, we vibe, we bitch about it. It is what it is, So us sisters get together every time after the race on Saturdays and just vibe and chat. And we've actually had Jay on our show, which was so exciting. But we usually have a guest as well, too, that comes and joins in with the bants and the vibes and all that good stuff. And we just throw down and gossip about all things Formula One.
So that's where Box Box Goss comes from then. It's all about the gossip.
So it's like you box for the so like in a pit, when you pit,
right?
They call in box. So
right.
You box, you stop for the gossip. So
well, we got plenty of gossip to talk about. So I do want to get right into it and ask you about some gossip we got to talk about, because somebody wanted to box in the midst of a race with only 10 laps to go. Meanwhile, they say as of recently, shit's not easy. So I just want to know, how is shit not easy? But within 10 laps, you're willing to risk boxing for pit stop training. So I want to know, how do you all feel about that shit? Talking about Max Verstappen all capping. Really, Max Verstappen all capping. How you feel about that?
I feel so. It's like, it just goes to show how much dominance they're going into. I think at that point, Red Bull and Max Verstappen were just taking the piss out of everyone. Like, they were already in the lead. Their lead was impeccable after starting from 6th place, and now you're talking about pit stop practice, which we all know the Red Bull team doesn't really need.
Facts.
I feel like at that point I was just watching and I was thinking, oh my gosh, these people are taking the piss out of us.
How you feel?
She's probably good that Asay started. She's way more diplomatic, I think, about this. And if our other sister Afi was on, she would be way more diplomatic than what I'm about to say. Yeah, they're full of shit.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
And just look, I actually I don't mind Max as like a person.
Right.
I don't like Red Bull at all.
Gotcha.
I don't like the way they operate. I don't like their outfit. I'm not really a fan of I feel like, there are better business practices than what they do. So I think, but it speaks to their dominance. They have a bloody fast car. It's probably, I think one of the, I think it was Martin Brundle or something like that, said something that we are probably witnessing probably one of the greatest cars that have ever been made in Formula One. So of course, if they have 30 or something seconds left, they should go ahead and practice their pit stop. They don't need to. Right. And I feel like it's shit kind of thing. It's a very demoralizing thing. And it's, I don't know, just mentally, it kills all the teams. But I just think it's, they're full of it. It's insane. I don't know. It's one of those things. But yes, Asay was way more diplomatic than I was.
So let me ask you, ladies, this: how do you feel about your viewership minutes moving forward with Formula One? Because a lot of people at this point in time, I get a lot of comments I'm not even watching Formula One. I just come to your channel to kind of hear what's going on. I don't even, tap in to F1 TV, tap in to ESPN. They tap into none of that. They come to the channel, see what the Wolfpack family's talking about, and they get their dose and then they're gone. How are you feeling about your viewership minutes going towards Formula One in the future, maybe even next season?
That's a really good question. Yeah.
Very good question. Sorry.
No, you
So do you
good. Go
want to
ahead.
start? Okay. I feel very frustrated. Like, I love watching Formula One, don't get me wrong, but it's just like you sit down and you watch and you're thinking like, it's like, you can't really get upset because it's like, Red Bull have sat patiently through the Mercedes dominance and this is our turn. But at the same time, it's like, where's the drama? Where's the excitement? And it's like, no, it's like, I feel like F1 has a problem on their hands. And it's like, I know for myself, I can't speak for Sedem. If I have to choose between Beyonce and the F1, I'm gonna go with Beyonce next year.
Ooh. Oh, damn. There it is.
I mean,
Facts.
I think actually Asay and I were having this conversation like over this just after Belgium. And, for us, obviously, for the sake of our show, we have to watch Formula One. We have to
Right.
at least keep some pulse on it. So let's just
Right.
be honest with that. If we weren't doing the show, I don't know if I would watch Formula One at this point in time. For starters, I say this, Australian fans are some of the most dedicated F1 fans out there. I mean, just the time period and the time difference that we have against the majority of the races on the calendar is shit. I mean, say he does a lot of live. I'm sorry, I should.
I said we let it fly at the Wolves Den. You
I'm
good?
sorry, Twitter
This is the
admin.
rules. Then it's like it's
Facts.
VIP people. Yes,
We let it fly.
He usually stays up really late. It's like 1 or 2 in the morning by the time the race kind of ends
Right.
to watch out the races, especially when they're in Europe. And I think in the US it's slightly worse. We have to wake up super early. So like it's already difficult for us to catch the races to begin with. But then but then like on top of that, it's just kind of I don't know, like it just doesn't make it worthwhile. And yes, we are Team LH fans. We were watching Formula One during the Mercedes dominance. So like, even that, I think we also skipped races here and there because we knew that it's going to be a Merc on the top step anyway. So
Right.
like vibes. I think it was kind of dicey, especially between Rosberg and Hamilton, which made it a bit more entertaining. This year we don't have that. It's Max running away with it. So, and it's been like that for the last couple of years. So I think it's just, I wouldn't blame people for tapping out, honestly.
Okay.
It's frustrating. So it's one of those things.
Okay. So outside of content creating, you all being content creators, then you would definitely probably check out by next season. If you saw this coming again, this is not something you want to see. Okay.
I mean, probably if we were not content creators right now, we probably may have checked out. I probably would just be
by even this season.
Yeah, this season. I probably would be reading the news by now and just
the news. Shit.
Yeah, I mean, look how far he is ahead. I think it's like 200 points clear or something like that.
Yeah, I think of Checo, he's about 154 points clear of Checo.
Yeah, I think like if we're not careful, by Italy, they could have wrapped up the championship already.
Right.
Honestly, I think I would have tapped out
now. I think that's what they're saying. It's Qatar. If he continues on this, he's wrapped up the championship by Qatar. And that's faster than when Michael Schumacher did it, I think, in 2002.
Okay, so I got a follow-up question real quick. Alonso said not too long ago that he felt like Max's championships were more valuable than Lewis's. How do you feel about that? Me, I feel like it's a bunch of bullshit. To me, if you have the fastest car and most dominant car built in Formula One history, how can you devalue somebody else's championships, but not Max's championships, given not only the circumstances that occurred in 2021, and then the ones that floated from 2021 to 2022, but also having the most dominant car, which is a result of breaching by $2+ million that went into supposed catering. Yeah. So how do you feel about that?
I think it's a two-pronged thing, in my opinion.
Okay.
So like, I agree with you. I think it's bullshit. I think it is like, I do mean like, what do you say when like one of the best cars that have ever been made in the sport with an excellent driver at the wheel of it,
Right.
and because of some shortcuts here and there, you
Okay.
know, what's it called? And then they just run away with it and things like that. So I do not agree with Alonso whatsoever. But at the same time, it is for the sake of like engineering, pure driving, all that sort of stuff. I can
Right.
appreciate like the sentiment.
Very good point.
I can
Very good
appreciate
point.
the fact that like, you know, it is a beautiful thing to see just
Right.
in terms of like driving and in terms of like motorsport, that we are
Okay.
seeing this amazing car reach speeds, go so fast against everybody else. Yes, it is
It
feeling a
is.
bit like Formula One versus Formula Two at this point in time. But like, it's just like, it is like as Jojo said, but like I think it's just like there is something to that. I think
Right.
there's something very valuable to it, and so like I think it is a really beautiful. I think it is a special thing we're witnessing. I think we are witnessing history. I love that, but I do not think his championship is worth more than anyone else's. Not even Alonso's, if I
Oh.
must be honest. Like,
Oh,
I mean, like,
right.
I don't think it's worth
I'll
it.
agree with that. I'll agree with that.
I don't. Yeah.
Like-
So like, I feel like he's just, you know, he's a shit stirrer, that boy. I mean,
Facts.
he says things, and he says a lot of things. So like,
That's
I'm
true.
not about it. So like, yeah, it's just whatever. But like, you know what? Alonso is besties with Verstappen. I'll let him. He
Okay.
can say whatever.
Let's say, what
I
do you
mean,
got?
I feel like, no, there's some sort of truth to it, because it's like, Sedum's right, there is history being made
Mhm.
in this, but then at the same time, there's a reason why I always thought that Fernando Alonso could be one of the cast members of the Real Housewives franchise. Pick any city, he would come in and he would go toe to toe with Erica and Nini and Kenya. Ooh, I want to see that. Like, I mean, yeah, I get it. History is being made. It is a powerful thing to see the combo between the car that has been made and the driver that is driving it. Like Max Verstappen is a very talented driver.
Facts.
And it's like seeing that type of combo together is so powerful. It like there's nothing like it. But to say something like that, there's a bit of bullshit about it, because it's like there's a lot of other dynasties that are also being challenged in this. Just
Yes.
saying.
Yes. I tell you what, Patrick, first person to get your hand up in the actual participants. Pat, go ahead, bro. I'm gonna lower your hand. You got the mic. Go ahead and ask a question.
Hi, Pat.
Hi.
As soon as he get his mic unmuted.
Yeah. Hi.
There you
hi.
go.
Hi, dear sisters. Nice to see you guys, and well done on doing a good show as well. Now, here's a question for you guys. Compared to the RB19 and the Mercedes, during back in the years when first Mercedes hit this scene and created such a fast car, and I call it like a Tracy Chapman style because it's like that title, with them fast car. What's the difference between it from them and Red Bull that you feel you'll find a difference? And hating how the rumors been saying that it's the car that got Lewis to his championship, but not to Max.
Good question, Uno. Good question, Twin.
That's such a good
You
question.
can go ahead and mute yourself. That was
Very
a good one, bro.
question.
Go ahead, ladies.
That was
You
a
got
really
it.
good question. Honestly, I think it's the setup of the team. I think it's down to that. I think it is the fact that they will not put anyone remotely that competitive against Max that makes like even Lewis's like determination in that car previously against Rosberg, even against Bottas, because Bottas was still
Right.
winning, if we
Right.
must be honest. Like, it was not
Yeah.
like the craziest, it was not as close of a gap as it was between Rosberg, but he was still winning. And Rosberg beat Hamilton.
Right.
He took the driver championship, I think, in 2016. So I think the fact that Mercedes has decided to, it does not, I don't know if they let Lewis have any say over drivers or have a great weight over the drivers that he's partnered next to. But I think the fact, well, actually, Lewis came to find Rosberg there, actually. I digress. So, like, I think is that the fact that they are comfortable with putting two very talented drivers next to each other and going have at it, and the car is amazing, is something that speaks to it. Whereas Red Bull are already, like Horner and Marco are already kind of saying, Checo has given up on his driver's championship. He knows it's not really in the thing and things like that. So I'm like, what? How can you say that to a person? Like, that's so, like, how can you do that? How can you demoralize a person like that? So I think, like, yeah, the cars are both incredible. I would personally put Verstappen's wins closer to it being more the car than it being more the driver, as opposed to Lewis. Because Lewis has actually had to prove himself with talent against another really good driver to be able to get as much as he can out of the car, and still is with the yam that he has currently right now. So, like, Verstappen, in my opinion, I don't think has ever really done that. I mean, he's done that in a Red Bull, but when he was at Toro Rosso, which was now AlphaTauri. I think I took a look back. He didn't make any.
Bro wasn't winning from 2014 to 2021. Like he had in between that time, I think he might have had 10 wins. So when he changed teams and got a better team, a better car, that's when he started winning.
Exactly. So, like, I personally would not, I'm not, this is now for any Red Bull people that may end up listening to this. I am not saying that Max is not a talented driver. I'm not saying that he's not even a once in a generational talented driver. I think he is all those things, but I think the car really helped him get to the 45 wins that he currently now has. I think it is more so the car than it is on maybe necessarily his talent.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Mary Beanie, you got your hand up. You are next. Go ahead. I'm gonna lower your hand. You got the mic.
Thanks, Jay. Hi, ladies.
What's up,
I
Mary?
kind of looked at your podcast earlier on. I wanted to ask you, I'm sorry if I got your name wrong, Casey. Who is the dominant sister? I feel like looking at the Hungarian one in particular, Sedan was sort of taking the lead as such, and you were just sitting quietly watching. Who is the dominant sister?
Who's the dominant sister out of you three?
It's Sedem.
Yeah, I thought that.
Okay.
Sedem's dominant sister.
I am the oldest. Okay.
That's a disclaimer. She's the oldest.
I'm sorry.
Good question, Mary. You can mute yourself. She said, "Who's the dominant sister?" Okay.
What I wanted to ask you, you were talking about, well, I call him Salty. I will not use Alonso. I will not use that name. After what he did, I call him Salty. I just call him Salty. I don't. I personally, I would put him in, as you were talking about the Housewives, I would put him in Beverly Hills because they like a bit of drama there.
Oh, yes. Yes.
You put him in Beverly Hills. Oh my gosh.
What my real sort of question is,
Okay.
What's your both opinion on I call him Princess George. He needs to go for Mercedes. I'm sorry, but I've had 3 years ago I was done with George. He's not a team player. I say bring back Valtteri.
So Mary's question is, what do you think about Princess George, and how do you feel if the opportunity would come up to bring back Valtteri? How do you feel about that?
I mean, George Russell, yeah, some of the stuff that, like some of the radio, I'll give him, like, it's hit or miss, like some of the radio, like some of the things that he has done on track is just not cool. And it's like, they're not cool. They're kind of dick moves. And I get that and I see where you're coming from in the fact that he isn't that much of a team player. Now, if Valtteri coming back, Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas was a goated pairing. They were a very good pairing for each other. It's like both of them did what they needed to do very, very well. I feel like right now he's very, very comfortable with Alfa Romeo, having a very good time with like the reduced with reduced pressures and a little bit more leeway to like be free, be a little bit more leeway to be like
have his input.
Have his input, and also just like be chiller. So
okay, all right,
yeah,
all right. I like that response. That's good. All right, Patrick, you got your hand up, and then we'll go to Julian. Go ahead, bro. I'm gonna lower your hand. Unmute yourself. You got the mic.
Got it. Because I got another question, right? You girls, I want you to actually give the 100% opinion on it because I like the way you gave the answers for the cars, and I'm going to nickname them as Tracy Chapmans, okay? Because that's what they are, fast cars. All right. Who do you think should actually control the F1, and do you think the cost cap should be abolished completely and make the race very spectacular than how it should have been all the time?
I'll repeat again. Coming in hot. Go ahead, bro. Repeat it one more time.
Yeah. Who do you think should control the F1, okay, and make sure that the cost cap is abolished completely and make the race as what it once used to be before?
Oh.
Tricky, isn't it? But come on.
It's tricky because
think about it. Think about it like in my position, if you was a spectator and you hated how this is getting screwed up, twisted like some spaghetti in a flipping fork, all right? And you ain't getting the actual fork to actually grip the spaghetti. So what would you do? You complain, right? So exactly what is the answer to this question?
Good question, Patrick. Let's go. Thanks, Uno. What do you got, ladies?
Ooh, I would fire Bin Suleiman. Sorry.
I'm not mad at that one.
I would fire him straight up.
All
he
right.
is unbelievably useless. I was so excited when he first joined, and then I was like, you know what? Never mind. I think, sorry to any of the Americans out there, I'd probably also get rid of Liberty Media. I think also, yeah, they're trying the most, and I think like they kind of understand Formula One, but they're trying to take it in a direction where it's all about the entertainment factor. And like, it's just quite frustrating because it was already somewhat entertaining to begin with.
Right.
And I think like if you understood the sport, you know, then you would obviously get into it. But like, I mean, there have been some things that they've done that have been great. You know, allowing Netflix to come in with Drive to Survive. I am actually a team Drive to Survive fan. I think so many of my friends have started talking about Formula One with me because of that show. And so I really do appreciate it. So I would have like kept that part, but like it was already entertaining to begin with. So I would also sack Liberty Media. I don't know if I would bring Bernie back though. And I'm not sure who else would replace, because Bernie was not also perfect either. And the cost cap, the question to your cost cap is actually really interesting, because on one hand, I see I understand why it should be abolished. But like, I also understand that like some teams are now getting a really good shot because of the cost cap.
I mean, I think you gotta go. I think the cost cap is okay. I think it needs some tweaking. I think the cost cap needs tweaking. I think the teams that finish lower, kind of like the NFL, need a bit more going in, and then the other teams a bit less to kind of start offsetting the balance. But
and I mean, and in my opinion, I think you better like I think you better like put down the harshest penalties when it comes to the cost cap.
Right.
They were so limp-fisted on Aston Martin and on Red Bull, and it pissed me off. I was like, you're gonna make this, you're gonna threaten everybody with this thing.
Facts.
8 out of the 10 teams adhere to it, and then the two teams are now benefiting from it, and all you do is slap on your wrist, you know, some Lehman Brothers kind of shit, you know, like it's bullshit. That was what pissed me off. So I would be like, you would lose points, you would lose like, you know, you would get podium stripped from you or something like that. Your time's deleted, whatever, something that will devastate them.
And set the tone.
Set the tone. Because now, I think this year, multiple teams have now blasted through it. I think including Mercedes. So
they've been real quiet about it.
Like, you know, so like if I'm gonna be paying what 300,000 euros, I mean, I might as well just.
What is that for a championship, right?
Exactly.
For a championship.
Right.
We spend that on the coffee, on making coffee latte arts that has George doing this kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I just think, yeah, I would just like it needs tweaking. And because I do appreciate the fact that now some of the other now it is leveling the field, especially at the back. So I'm appreciating that. But I also think like Red Bull needs to like honestly points need to go for them in my opinion. But it's not going to help with anything. They're too far ahead. But like I think, yeah, it's not. Yeah.
They missed. I think they missed that opportunity to set it, and it was very limp what they did. But also, I think that in your response to Liberty Media, I am American, but I agree with you. I think that this has been my frame of thought. If you concentrate on breeding good competition, entertainment will follow with that. If you're focused on entertainment, then you risk really legitimate competition. And you just, this is not real. It's real TV, but this is not reality TV, right? So we're not going for all the fluff and all, like just make good rules, set the standards, uphold those rules, make necessary changes to the track. Don't take out things that are puzzling for teams right off the bat because, oh my gosh, track limits, they're going to have to figure those things out. There are other things you can do. Remove sausage curves or input other things that penalize the team without you penalizing them if they break track limits. You know, so I think things like that would be a good situation. I'm going to go ahead. Julian had his hand up next. Go ahead, Julian. I'm going to lower your hand. You got the mic. Julian? Yeah, unmute yourself. All right. Well, if Julian doesn't say anything in the next 5 seconds, we'll go
that.
There you go.
Got it. I just had to change my audio settings. I didn't know they were wrong. Well, I raised my hand up when the question was posed about George Russell, but I can answer this one too. Or
no. You ask a question. You get to ask a question.
Oh wait, ask a question. Oh my God.
You ask a question. They answer the questions. You ask the question.
Wait, but if everyone's asking questions, when are we going to get answers? Wait, are
they
you
already answered
questions?
it? Like Uno asked the question, they answered it. Mary asked the question, they answered it. So now you get to ask a question.
Oh my gosh.
You want some time to come back and think about one?
Yeah, I didn't know that's what was happening.
Yeah, no worries, man. Go. You good? You good? All right, Mary Beanie. I'm gonna lower your hand. Go ahead, unmute yourself. You got it.
Right. Hi, ladies again. Well, Jane was I can curse the hang out of anything really. I'm normally cursing like nobody's business, but I've been watching F1 since 1978. I've seen the ups, I've seen the downs. My favourite time is when the V10's engine was around in F1.
Yeah, she likes.
And I had no earplugs, and my hearing's perfect. My hearing's perfect. Now, if Seb Vettel can do it in Nigel Mansell's car in Red 5, why can't F1? You know, and Pirelli needs to go. They need to bring back Bridgestone tyres. I'm sorry, they need to bring back Bridgestone. But I lived through the Bernie years. Now, I call him the poison dwarf. That's what I used to call him. He had good points, but he had really, really bad points. Really stupid ideas, actually, like putting sprinklers on every track. That's one point Bernie had. But what is your favourite time period in F1? And what tracks would you like to see go? Me personally, Spa and Monaco.
All right, so ladies, Mary's question is, what time period of Formula One did you like? Hers is the V10 era. And then what tracks, you all pick one track each that you would like to see removed off the calendar. Appreciate that, Mary.
Oh my gosh. I don't know if I'm going to be able to answer that question. Mary, like I want to sit down and talk to you about your experience.
Right. Mary's one of our OG F1 watchers. Like, it's we got a few of them in the family.
Cool.
It is very cool.
I would want to sit there and talk to you. I would have more questions for you than for
right.
Yeah, I mean,
right. We can hook that up.
Like a tiny little length of goodness. Honestly, I think like when my dad started watching like back in like late 90s, I think I say, right? Dad started watching in the late 90s.
Right.
So I think I'd actually kind of like to go back to that era. I do not remember the engine manufacturer era that it was, But like this one was, yeah, I mean, I would love to have gone back to that and see, like, you know, at least just see the greats like race against each other. So like Senna, Schumacher as he was coming up. I believe, yeah, like you know, those sort of people also around it. I don't know. I don't know if I'm answering this question very well. But I could definitely answer a track that needs to go. On this current calendar or like just in general.
Like in general,
I mean, I'm not too hopeful about Las Vegas.
Oof, damn, the track before they even get another opportunity come on, you ready to take them off? And I want to know why. Why are you not
I mean,
so
I just
hopeful
was never
about Vegas?
I mean, the track doesn't look appealing, and I just honestly, again, down to Liberty Media kind of like coming through. I don't understand why we're having even a race there to begin with. I mean, yay, Daniel Ricciardo gets to enjoy it, but like,
right,
what action is going to be there? I do understand Monaco though. I do understand Monaco, why people would take off Monaco. But my only thing is that I just want to be, before they take it off, and I've said this on our show, I just want to be on a yacht in a tastefully designed, topless bikini, sunbathing, enjoying the race as the noises go by in the harbor. That's all I want.
Okay.
Purely not for driving reasons.
Okay. Say, what do you got? So what era, if you have one, and what track would you like to see go?
I don't know which era I would like. There's so many great eras that has happened with Formula One. I would honestly go back to the first era that I started watching in a heartbeat.
Okay.
Around 2007, 2000, and then watch 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014. That era was a blip. Like 2012 to 2014 was a blip. And why I say this is because at the time, I used to go to a Christian boarding school with Sedem, and we would just not have access to television at all. We're cut off from the outside world. And the sad thing about it is that, I mean, aside from like missing out on some vital information about what's happening in the world, we also missed out on some iconic races that happened in that era. And also seeing the come up of like Lewis Hamilton in Mercedes. There's a lot of stuff that we missed. And it's like, I look back and I kick myself because of it, because it's like, the things we missed, the things that we miss, I don't know if Sedem feels the same way about it, but the things I missed, the things I wish I could have understood, like that type of thing. Like there's a big blip and it's like, it's going from, Lewis Hamilton moved to Mercedes. Michael Schumacher was there, but he left and then he went on, and then now Lewis Hamilton is winning. It's like, you look at it, it's like, wow. I resumed watching in 2015. I was like, whoa, what's going on? What happened? What did I miss? And as for races, as for tracks that would have I would have loved to see go. I want to see Emilia Romagna go. I don't know why we should have 2 tracks in Italy. 3 tracks in the US, gotcha. I understand. Like I truly do. It's a big country. I just wish they would lower the prices on one of the tracks.
Oh my gosh. I just paid for my shit today. I told the Wolfpack fam I'll be in Coda. The Coda race. So the USGP in Texas. So I'm just gonna say it. Like I've looked at all the prices across the entire calendar. The US prices for every race are the highest. I think today I spent on a general admission pass, it was like $530. The parking pass was $330. You know what I'm saying? Hotels that are now $140 a night are $900 to $700 per night in the vicinity of the track. It is crazy ridiculous. Crazy ridiculous. Not to mention your rental car, not to mention your hotel, it's crazy ridiculous. It is. It's really crazy. Yeah, it's $330 for a parking pass, and that's like in lot Z's or R, some of the outer. Then they're even charging for a stretch of road that leads to the track. You have to buy a parking pass for that, and that's around $200. All right, so if you want to park closer to the actual entrance of Coda, it's $900 for a 3-day parking pass. for the paddock is $10,000 for paddock if you go to StubHub or Ticketmaster. If you buy your hospitality passes throughout the teams, you're going to range anywhere from $8,000 to $10,000 to $12,000 for those hospitality passes. It's ridiculously crazy.
And to think that is the cheapest race in the US calendar.
Right.
That is appalling.
Right.
And the sad thing is that I get that there's a need to appeal to the celebrities and the hub and the glitterati, but we as F1 fans are the reason why you guys are coming to the US.
Thank you. Facts.
Exactly.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I can look at other races and they're
like
like $160, $60 for general admission.
I mean,
lie.
just on parking alone sounds like exactly the amount that we paid as sisters for a 3-day weekend in Melbourne. Because we have we have transportation. So we have like the tram, which is amazing. Right. And it was actually free from certain stations at a certain point because you want millions of people tapping on and things like that. Flights were expensive because it was that weekend. But and I think hotels were not cheap either, but I didn't know. I mean, I just stayed with my sisters. Right. But just those pieces alone, that just parking sounds like it was more expensive than for the three of us to go to and we sat with the Mercedes grandstand, which was already expensive to begin with, than normal grandstand tickets. But it was so worth it. But it sounded like it was around the same price. That's
right.
Wild.
It's ridiculous. It's wild. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. All right, we got another question coming from Uno. Go ahead and then Galactus. You're up next. Uno, I'm gonna lower your hand. You got the mic, brother. Go ahead.
Okay. One last question again, girls. As we all know that what Mary said about the years of the Grand Prix, and you guys, well done on that. My history has been on it from the time with Maury Walker and Niki Lauda, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm about nearly 56 to 57 years old. So my birthday this year coming up. However, question time.
Birthday.
No, it's coming up 2 months time. So not yet.
Happy early birthday.
Happy early birthday. Yes.
Okay. As we all know about the tracks that's supposed to be gone, not supposed to be present, and not supposed to be liked. Do you actually think that South Africa should actually get the track back? And do you think that it will make great race business for more sponsorship and more interest in the years to come?
God damn, Uno coming in hot, bro.
Yo, I told you, bro, I'm a Hunger Game, all right? That's my name now. Hunger Game.
Let's go, bro.
So it's the time to tell you guys. What do you think about that? Do you
Ladies, answer that question, please. That's a smoking one.
Come on. This is the Hunger Game time.
Swear?
Yeah, hell yeah, you can drop the F-bomb you want. This the Wolves Den,
yes,
damn it.
Okay, great. Fuck yes, the South African Grand Prix should be there.
My opinion.
Look, all my
Appreciate
sisters,
it, Uno.
so we're all TCKs, right? And all three of us were born in different countries. My sisters all have a home Grand Prix. The youngest one, even though she feels some way, has 3 because she was born in the US. I was born in South Africa. I do not have a home GP. And it is disappointing. And aside from that, it does make good business sense. The crazy amount of Africans, because we're Ghanaian Australian. We know that there is a rich, deep community in Africa that loves Formula One. Yes. Loves Formula One. And their closest one is either Silverstone or Abu Dhabi. They have to leave the continent to go and watch it. The amount of revenue that would have poured into South Africa, they could have fixed load shedding. I'm not even kidding. 1 or 2 years, they could have fixed load shedding. It's insane. That's just a joke. But anyway, the point is that we love Lewis. We have such a deep reverence. I will admit there is a strong.
I've seen a Red Bull fandom there is crazy too, though.
Yeah,
it's crazy. There's a heavy amount of even Ferrari fans there. It is ridiculous for them.
Some of my favorite people are Ferrari fans. African F1 fans are Ferrari fans. So I think it is ludicrous that they decided to say, we can't do it because cost, and they've aligned themselves with Russia and now. I think it's all bullshit.
Right.
I think
Haas is still in fucking Formula One.
Such good business sense. We have now 5 in the Middle East or something like that. You've been able to add Qatar. You've been able to add an additional one in the US. You've been able to keep China on, even though they don't want to have it.
China doesn't want to have a race. They should actually go. They should make it roster. They don't want a race.
I mean, Singapore was being threatened if they did not get themselves back in order to get back on the grid, on the calendar. If they didn't host a race, I think by 2022 or something like that. The point is ridiculous. Which is ridiculous, but China's been given so much grace. It just, I mean, even as an Australian fan, the demand for Australia is huge. They should add an additional one. There is a perfectly good racetrack in Melbourne that I think they could potentially, South Australia, that they could potentially use. Is it? Yeah, I think they used to have a Grand Prix out in Adelaide, actually.
They did have a Grand Prix out in Adelaide. Yeah. Adelaide. Maybe even going up to Bathurst to do a race. That would be amazing. And
which would be great for me.
Yes, adding on, if I can add on to it, the idea that politics is the reason why South Africa didn't get a race is, as a Ghanaian Australian, I think is very laughable when you look at all the other countries that hold races. Right. They are not. I wouldn't really say they have much of a leg to stand on. And that's the nicest I can be about it. Now, as an African, as a race fan, it would be amazing to get a race, because it would be amazing to get a race within a country, because that means a lot of people don't have to go and jump through hoops to get a visa to go to a race. And for a lot of people, a race, it becomes so much more accessible. And it's like, and also I agree with what Saddam was saying with the demand for more Australian races. Hell, let's even get a race up in another race up in South America. I mean, there's some good places that they can go to. And it's like, and if not, I would be so happy to either see Sepang return or Istanbul Park come back. Those were mint.
Okay.
Absolute mint. And it's like, there's so many other places that, I mean, in addition to South Africa, which I would love to see, there's so many other amazing places that we can go to. But instead, I don't know why we are trying to focus on getting a fourth race in New York, of all places.
I've been told, people.
And another race in Madrid. It doesn't really make sense to me. It doesn't really make sense to me. I don't even know if they even want them. And it's like, I feel like if they decide to go through with it with us saying, we don't want this race, we're going to run into the same thing that's happening with Las Vegas. And they're going to run in with so many issues with local authorities and local stakeholders. And it's just like, we're going to be sitting there saying, we told you we wanted to go to Kailami, but you didn't listen.
Back. So I got a question. Galactus is coming up next. Go ahead, bro. I'm gonna lower your hand. Unmute yourself.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Just a quick question on the sprint races and the format. We currently have 6. I think we should have just 4, once a quarter. I think that'll be good. And then also change it up. I know we talked previously on, reversing the grid, or the lower teams having the priority over the sprint, versus it just being another race where the top teams gain points. So just what are your thoughts on that?
Good question, Galactus. Appreciate you, brother, man. You can go ahead and mute yourself. Go ahead, ladies. What do you think about that? Because we've talked about it several times about the sprint format. And I know here, I think probably, if not one of the first platforms to really start going headstrong on it, I said that the sprint format was jacked. It's just like a double snatch grab for top teams, and it's not very competitive. I don't think many people tune into it. It is kind of boring. Funny qualifying sessions have been more entertaining than races this season. But I think definitely if you're going to make the sprint, remember what I said about breeding competition. If you go ahead and take drivers that are not accustomed to getting points, or teams that are not accustomed to getting points, have those 10 go into the sprint so they can fight for points they don't typically get, and then let that be the way they set the grid order for the race on Sunday and then have regular qualifying for the top 10 and let them set their grid order for that. But I just think, and we think as a family, that the sprint format is not really yielding good for competitive spirit. So what do you think about that?
Agreed.
I agree.
Yeah. I feel like the sprint format, I think like a good quarterly race would be a fun thing to see at best. I love the idea of taking the bottom teams and letting them go head to head in a sprint race and then potentially getting points. That would be really, really cool to see. But then at the same time, it's like, what's it? I mean, it's like, it's a hit or miss. Like, honestly, when watching this, my opinion of watching the sprints races is that there's not a lot of time to make things interesting in a race. It's like, you find out you have 15 minutes, 15 laps or so, making up for 20 minutes. I think the only time that a sprint race has been interesting is Azerbaijan. And Azerbaijan, of course, it's a great track. It's a fantastic track. But it's like, at that time it was barely watchable. And it's like, I don't know. I feel like there needs to be a lot of reformation, making it a quarterly race, reversing the thing, like reversing the grid, something. There's got to be something. Like, it's just not there yet. It's not there yet for us to warrant 6 races on the grid, on the calendar.
Okay. Yeah. I'm all with that. So Dan, what you got?
I agree. I think F1 Academy actually has been flipping their order for the like they have 3 races during a weekend. So like they flip their order, I think, for the second one or something like that, which I think would be super cool. I think the sprint races currently at the moment are just an opportunity for the top teams to get more points, which is bullshit. Like, it's not, there's no level of like competition. I think we should play around with the reverse grid format. Let's see Max storm up the grid and and figure it out how to get his win and things like that. I would love to see that. How he does all the overtaking would be so much fun. Like, I mean, I think that's what made Belgium, until he actually got the lead, maybe a bit more interesting because it was wet, and then he also had to storm up the grid a little bit, like just 6 spaces, but like it worked itself out. So like, yeah, I agree that like, you know, let the other lower teams have an opportunity to snag first, or like give them opportunities, because we've seen flashes in the pan from other teams like Haas, who had some great moments last year. Albon is doing magic and all sorts of shit with that Williams car. And it would also give opportunity for like McLaren and and Aston Martin, I should say, and even Ferrari, an opportunity to get to that top step as well too, which God knows, especially for Ferrari, they need it.
I was about to say, like, boom.
So I mean, I'm just like, yeah, I think like, I don't think the current sprint format works. I'm not a fan of it. And usually when it's a sprint weekend, I just kind of like mentally just kind of
check out, huh?
I check out. It's not usually my thing. So yeah, okay. Some tweaking.
All right, Mary Beanie, you gonna go ahead and have the last question before we close out. Mary, I'm gonna lower your hand, unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you.
No problem, lady.
Well, me personally, sprints are fucking shit. I hate them. I honestly hate them. They're a pointless waste of bloody time. They bugger up the whole weekend, because what I do, my routine, and I've done it for years. I've got notes gone back from years. FP1, FP2, FP3. I watch it, then I rewatch it, then I take notes. I do it with the race as well and qualifying. I've got notes gone back to 1984. But my thing, I used to like it with the all calendar. Adelaide was the season opener, and Adelaide's actually a better track than Albert Park. I used to love it when Mansell was racing at Adelaide. He was my hero, Nigel Mansell. Loved the guy. And then Brazil was the season finale. I I would love to, I can't even mention, I was at that fateful race in 21, and I can't even mention the track. I can't. Sorry, I still have nightmares about it. But Brazil should be the season finisher. It was. And Brazil is a much better track. The atmosphere there is brilliant. That's one of the tracks I would love to go to, Brazil. One of them. I've been to Singapore. I was there in 2018 when Lewis done that amazing lap.
So was your question for them, do they think they should replace Abu Dhabi for Brazil?
Yeah. And
okay.
They were asking about what was it again? God, I'm confusing myself.
Take your time.
They were asking about sort of different things. See, the thing is, Lewis is wanting Kyalami. And I remember Kyalami from years ago in F1. And that was such an amazing track. Get rid of the crap that's on here now. Just get rid of it. It's like Monaco. It's like Monaco's best time was late 80s, early 90s. That was the best time for racing. Now it's just like, oh, it's all right for qualifying, but the race is absolute crap. You could watch something else, go watch a movie or whatever. But I've seen with Spa, they can't do pretty much more with that track, especially Radion and going up the bit. They can't change that. And I've seen so many fatalities at that track. It needs to go. The weather ain't got, it doesn't matter what time of the year you go to that track, they're always going to be rain. They're always going to be rain. Get rid of the two. I'm not really too hot about, well, Monza's all right. I would rather see Maranello than the other one.
So, Mary, you gave them a lot of tracks, but what's your question for them directly?
My question is, what would, if you could change one thing in F1 and you had the power to do it, what would you change? Me, I'd get rid of the puppet.
Shit. Okay. Good question, Mary. Appreciate that. Damn, that's a pretty good question. That's a lot of power. So I need I need an answer from each of you. If you had the power to change anything in Formula One, what the hell would it be? That's a loaded question. Go ahead. What you got?
Oh man. Oh, Mary, that was a good question.
That's a good closer. I like that shit.
You know how, like, so in South Africa they had like a Truth and Reconciliation Committee after apartheid. Okay. You know, because apartheid sucked and was bullshit. You know what? Someone said, send Marco's ass to a nursing home. I get that. Anyway. So like, I would kind of do that, but like for, what's it called? For like anybody that feels like they've been jilted out of a championship and things like that. So like if Hamilton, and yes, if Hamilton wanted to come and be like, I want a review of Abu Dhabi 2021, do that and have a full out review and look at it and see what could be done. If Massa wants to come back and look at the results from 2008, there is a board that they can do that. Because look, the FIA makes up their rules as they go. Sometimes they're like, nah, it's final. Then they do final qualification afterwards. Then they do, because track limits. Oh, we're gonna set the times later because everyone got penalties. Like they make up the rules as they go. So I'm kind of like, if that's the case, why can't we also review driver championships and the circumstances around it? Because in that reconciliation committee, I would give Hamilton the win for 2021. Because it's one of those things. I would look at Massa's claims and see if there's any merit to what he's talking about, and how, if people knew about Crashgate long before it was about to happen or something like that. I forget what the details are, before it actually happened. Or no, if they knew about the details after it happened earlier than they said they did. Right. Therefore, being able to do something within that period before it went to the final race. I think it was, I don't know if it was Brazil or Abu Dhabi. We're still doing that at that time.
It was Brazil.
Yeah. Before we went to Brazil. So like, I would have a space for that because like, I think something like that would be a bit more important, and things like that. So
that's a pretty good one. Although, Master, I would say Ferrari screwed you over so many times in Singapore that even after Crashgate happened, y'all damn forgot the fuel was attached and you had to pull over in the pit lane. So you fucked yourself.
Yeah, true. Fair enough. He was probably not getting
right. He's probably not getting it back. But it's good. The sedan will consider you to come and talk about it. And there's a space for that. Say, what do you got? What's your answer on that one?
Oh, there are so many things that I would change within Formula One.
You only get one.
Yeah, it's hard to nail it down to just one. But if it was me, I would do this. And I would do this. Scrap FIA, scrap Liberty Media, and create an F1 tribunal out of all the teams, like a team governing body, because it's more so make it like make it a tribunal where all the teams can go and be heard, and maybe get outside officials not affiliated with the FIA to sit in and like mediate between them all. And it's just like like the way that, like, that's the thing. It's like, independent stewards as well too. And it's like, it means saying goodbye to Bernd Mailander, but like, he can stay, he can be an advisory person. So it's like, the thing is that like with a lot of the issues, like more so with governance, like what Sedem was speaking to, a lot of it, like you get the sense that the FIA and Formula One have lost their way. And in a sense, it's more so like trying to reform back things before it gets to a point where it becomes irreparable. And it's like, they suggested it in 2005 where they had the whole Tiregate thing. And it's like, and it was more so trying to secede in that sense with the tires. And I thought, ooh, that's a really good idea. And it's like having a team produced tribunal, I feel like it would be, I don't know if it will be easier to come to decisions, but then there's also a better chance that once the decisions are come to, everyone can agree to it because everyone was a part of the decision making.
I like it. Okay, so in this final moment, I want to give the ladies their opportunity before I close this out to say questions are closed at this time. So we're not going to do a question. Remember, we got to keep the flow going for YouTube. The ladies have their opportunity. I'm giving them the floor to give you all information, where you can reach them, where you can follow them, where you can support them, and anything they have coming up in case it's of interest to you, and you can go ahead and support that as well. So ladies, whoever wants to take that mic, go right ahead and just go ahead and let people know.
I don't know. I say, should I do it or do you want to do it?
You can, you can do half, and then you start it off, and then if anything, I can edit.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I need to keep it, I am the dominant sister, but I do need to be,
I see that. I see you were exercising that. Go ahead.
You can find us on Box Box Goss F1 on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. We are hilarious everywhere and very silly. And then we have our shows out every Saturday after the race. So actually, we're dropping our Belgium GP show. It's Saturday here in Australia today on YouTube. Very soon, we're also going to put this out as an audio podcast as well too. Look out for that announcement. I'm hoping it's coming out during the summer break. So instead of, our faces are gorgeous, but if you can't sustain the bandwidth, the audio podcast is definitely going to be there as well too. Is there anything else I'm missing?
Ooh, I think you got it all. Like,
100%.
What about, so it's like, we're funny everywhere. Twitter, we keep up with the news. We're funny everywhere. We do fun shit as well on our social medias as well too. We got Woman Crush Wednesday on Instagram, Twitter. Like, you can catch me live tweeting during the race, and it's like you'll hear our opinions about the news in real time. TikTok, we're just playing funny. We're just shooting the shit. We're a riot. So it's like you can catch. So it's like, and then YouTube, main source, at least for now, and before getting onto the audio podcast. We're fun. We're funny. And it's like you'll see more of us like there hanging out. So yeah.
All right, bet. So what I will do to make things easy for people, I will go ahead and place some of these links for the ladies, Twitter, their IG, their X, so-called. So it could be easy for you all just to click that and go ahead and follow them. This is a platform about building and putting a ladder down to bring another up. So I will say this before we close: any and everybody or any other content creator that has said women are not worthwhile for having on your platform, this is what I want you to do. I want you to forget to clean your ears for about a good month. I want you to take your finger and put it in there, and I want you to suck on that. All right, because if you're not supporting women in the space of content creation or in motorsports, period, you probably suck ass. And I'm just keeping it really 100 with you. And that's really on the PG-13 side. So what I really would say to you, we can make that on a personal note. I will be in Coda. Anybody want to come get that smoke in person. I'll be there. My family members who all poured in to support these ladies and asked some very awesome questions. I really appreciate you all taking the time to come celebrate them while they were here. Yo, Box Box Goss, we're going to have you back in the Wolves Den again. This house is very welcomed and open to you as well. And this has been another episode of Wolves Den. And if you're not in, it's because you're not in. Figure out how to get in. All right, VIP settings is up. All right, we'll check in with y'all later. Peace. Thanks for watching another episode of Wolfpack Performance. Don't forget to check out some of my other content on Formula One and motorsports topics. Like, share, subscribe, and we go live on the weekends. See you soon.